Alright, so $50 overhaul from Aldi's. I think that's pretty good. You see, I got my kettle chips, but I just wanted some. I just wanted me a chicken brew. So I just got some chicken breast, some potatoes, and some vegetables to go in there. I'm gonna put all that in the crock pot and let it cook slow all day. I bought some small stuff for me. Small stuff for me to eat off of. Throughout the day today. I'm eating light today. And I'll just let this chicken go in the crock pot. In both my crock pots. Busy weekend, and Monday's going to be busy too. So just something to be eating off of for the next few days. And there is a backstory to the chicken. And that's the reason why I bought chicken breast. For my veterans, I know we have flashbacks and things bother us, and a lot of stuff that we can't. I'll see. Ooh, get my face off the camera so close. A lot of things that we can't see, and there was a time when I was in the war. And a young man, he was not only decapitated, his entire body was torn into 3 pieces. And unfortunately, I was in a convoy where that happened. And, once everything cleared, you could see pieces of his body. And I've carried that for 30 plus years. Times I could battle through it, times I have to, just get off to myself. There'd be times when I would drink, but that didn't help because, I have my alcohol tolerance is high. I can drink alcohol like a fish and never be drunk. So that wasn't doing anything. There would be times where it'd be hard for me to prepare certain meals like chicken because I'm pulling the veins out and all the gizzard and all that stuff. Stuff that some people don't clean out. I don't know how y'all do that. When you cooking those chicken thighs, you need to be pulling those veins and all that bloody membrane out of there. Your chicken legs, there is a vein that runs through there. You need to pull that out. Some people don't do it. They just throw the chicken in and go for it, but I can't do it. But even that, that had become to be a task for me because of the blood. And I strayed away from it for a long time. So I shared with my therapist, how bad I wanted, a chicken brew. I said, man, I just want to throw some chicken in my crock pot with some vegetables, cook some hot water cornbread, and man, just chill. I said, I have a taste for that so bad. And, she knew what was going on in thorough conversation or whatever. And she suggested, she said, okay, why don't you get chicken parts that you don't have to do that? And I'm steady listening to her. She said, why don't you start with chicken breast? I said, well, it has a bone in it. They got to come out. Some chicken breasts have bones. And she said, well, but it doesn't have blood. I said, okay. So I thought about that for now. We talked, went on with the session, and we talked about some other things, but that set on me. And before we closed out, we revisited that again. So I was like, okay. So that is why today I did grab the chicken breast. And those are some nice sized chicken breasts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let them alkalize for a while. soaking them in baking soda and apple cider vinegar. Because unfortunately, we know there are things that goes on with the food. We don't need to go into that. That's a whole different topic. And also my vegetables, let them all alkalize and clean for a little while too. And I'm going to season everything up. Put them in my crock pots. I have enough for 2 to go in both my crock pots. So we will eat some, and then I'll freeze the other, for a later time. So my veterans, this is what I encourage you with. If you need therapy, because I know therapy not for everybody. If you need therapy, go. Listen to the suggestions of your therapist, but also, let there be a productive conversation as well. Not the therapist just directing you with everything. You talking too, because that conversation is private. Even though I share something here, I wouldn't go into detail of what she and I, talked about and discussed, but I want to share that in regards to the chick, just as an example. Some people may find it funny, and be like, dang, you can't cook chicken? Like, have you ever seen a body torn and shredded to parts? Okay, don't talk to me. Something as simple as that, some simple tasks, it's hard for us to do. I know, I understand. So I encourage you, if you are in therapy, have that productive conversation with your therapist. And, take the steps or the skills or, whatever they're trying to give you and work with them. If you need to like teeter it a little bit or adjust it a little bit to work for you, then do that. But I'm going to today try this with the chicken breast, because I'm going to have to, because they're real big and thick, so I'm going to have to cut into them, slice them up how I want for them to go in the crock pot, for me to first clean them, then season them, and then for them to go in the crock pot. So if that begins to bother me cutting through the chicken breast, then I'll stop and I'll come back. Whatever time I need to take with that, I'll do it, because I don't want to, that young man that was just torn to pieces on that evening, that's how I see him. Even though when we had the memorial service for him, before they sent his body home, and God bless his family, I just I don't even want to know what they had to go through, not to even if they even viewed his body or whatever else. I mean, it was in pieces, so I'm sure that was closed casket or cremation. God bless him. But I want to be able to see that young man as a person, because there was a picture of him for the memorial. You know how we do it. It's how it was done. The boots, dog tag, weapon, uniform. By him being torn apart like that, dismembered like that, there was a picture of him there. And that's my goal. I want to see him as a person, not a body in pieces. So I'm going in with this challenge today to prepare this chicken brew just like I want it. And if I have to stop, I'll stop. And then I'll come back to it. So yes, today is it's a strong mental day for me today. But I encourage you all to, as much as you can, challenge yourself. As far as you can go without harming yourself or setting yourself back. If you need therapy, go ahead. The VA got some therapists there. Regardless of what's going on with all this other stuff, there are still therapists there. Good ones too. If you're already in therapy, stay with it, stick with it. If you don't feel like you need therapy, then that's fine too. You got your good support system outside of not needing that. That's cool. But those who are in therapy, you still use the therapy and your support system. If you have one, I hope you do. I do. So I have my family and my therapist. So I encourage you all with that. Maybe I'll do an update or not, but for now, I'm going to go in here and prepare and prep and get this chicken brew going.